For thousands of years, the Sith prophesied the coming of an overlord who would rise to power to become the perfect being and the ultimate Sith, one who is free from all restrictions and limitations. The name that was given to this individual was the Sith'ari, and they would rise to strengthen the Sith and lead them. But who was it that rose to become the Sith'ari and fulfill the ancient prophecy? In this video expose, I will describe the prophecy of the Sith'ari, the prophecy's origins, and why it was considered to be so important to the Sith. Further, I will specify who it was that rose to the position of the Sith'ari and fulfilled the prophecy to both lead and strengthen the Sith. The prophecy of the Sith'ari was a relatively simple one. It stated, "The Sith'ari will be free of limits. The Sith'ari will lead the Sith and destroy them. The Sith'ari will raise the Sith from death and make them stronger than before." The Sith'ari was a title that meant Lord or Overlord in ancient Sith, and the prophecy itself could be traced back to the first Sith Empire that was formed 28,000 years before the events depicted in A New Hope. Originally, the prophecy of the Sith'ari was thought to be so sacred that it couldn't even be written, and therefore it was only passed down through the generations verbally. It wasn't until Sorza Sin, a former Jedi who had been exiled from the Jedi Order after the outbreak of the 100-Year Darkness, that the prophecy was recorded, roughly 6,900 years before A New Hope. The prophecy of the Sith'ari foretold the coming of one who would be the ultimate Sith, one who was a perfect being and unhampered by any restrictions. As foreseen by the prophecy, the Sith'ari, although being someone who would destroy the Sith, would also rise to lead them, and through their destruction, would ultimately allow for the Sith Order to become stronger than they had previously been before. Through the years, the prophecy of the Sith'ari came to foresee the coming of a god in many respects, and was the subject of numerous legends. But how did the prophecy of the Sith'ari originate, and how did it come to be a prophecy that was so revered by the Sith, whereby it retained its significance amongst the Dark Lords for thousands of years? The origins of the prophecy of the Sith'ari can be traced back to King Adis, as the prophecy was first inspired by his actions and the legends that surrounded his accomplishments. In fact, the title of Sith'ari was one that was first claimed by Adis himself. So who was King Adis? Born on the planet of Korriban, Adis was a Sith male who rose to become the king of Korriban, enjoying a reign over the planet lasting for almost 300 years. Adis was able to successfully unite the diverse nations that were located on Korriban in a series of conflicts that occurred roughly 28,000 years before A New Hope. The result of these conflicts was that Adis was able to cement himself as the exclusive leader of the people of Korriban. Over time, his people came to revere him as a godlike figure, and his seeming invincibility led them to believe that he was immortal, and that his reign as king would be eternal. Importantly, due to this perception of Adis, he was given the title of Sith'ari. Ultimately, King Adis was eventually slain and his immortality was shown to be false during the conflict that arose through the invasion of Korriban by the Rakata. Although Adis was able to defeat the invading Rakata and ensured that his people would be free, it cost Adis his life. Following Adis's death, a constant state of civil war plagued Korriban, and out of the chaos, many claimed the title of Sith'ari that had been prophesied for themselves. This practice of proclaiming oneself to be the Sith'ari of prophecy, as well as the belief in usurpers of the title who turned out to be false, continued from the time of King Adis's death to the end of the New Sith Wars almost 27,000 years later. So who was the true Sith'ari that fulfilled the prophecy? The true prophesied Sith'ari was none other than the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Bane, who lived roughly 1,000 years before the events seen in A New Hope. One need only to look at the wording of the prophecy of the Sith'ari and compare them to the life and accomplishments of Darth Bane to understand why the title of Sith'ari rightfully belongs to him. Having recognized that the Sith's philosophy and organization through the Brotherhood of Darkness was deeply flawed, in that it limited one's potential strength that could be achieved through their full serving of and dedication to the dark side of the Force, Darth Bane undertook to destroy the Brotherhood and all of the Sith in existence with it. Bane would not accept the limits placed upon the Sith by the Brotherhood, through its actions that promoted infighting and internal strife amongst the Sith Order, and thereby suppress the strength of the dark side by allowing lesser Sith to combine their strength to overpower and remove stronger Sith. Ultimately, Bane succeeded in destroying the entirety of the existing Sith Order at the 7th Battle of Ruusan, and instituted a new order of the Sith Lords from its ashes, that was underpinned by his rule of 2, and which he became the leader of. It was Darth Bane's order of the Sith Lords and his rule of 2 that allowed the Sith to grow in power to the point that they were able to annihilate the Jedi Order and allow the Sith to rule the galaxy through Darth Sidious and his apprentice Darth Vader, 2 Sith who were the beneficiaries of the lineage that had started with Darth Bane. Therefore, as one who freed himself from the limits placed upon him and all Sith by the Brotherhood of Darkness, who destroyed the Brotherhood to raise and lead a new Sith Order, and as one who made the Sith stronger than they had been to the point where they ruled the galaxy, it's clear that Darth Bane was the legendary Sith'ari who fulfilled the prophecy. So there we have it. Why it's Darth Bane who can rightfully claim the title of Sith'ari and who fulfilled the prophecy. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for what have they done to you?